A lot of my tendency is not to slow down, and that's something that I'm trying to learn, and I probably will. Hopefully I'll learn it one of these days, but it means a lot more to play one note that really says something than it does to play a million notes that don't ever get there. Most of the time, if I try to play the song the same way twice, the first time will feel good, and the second time feels like I'm copying myself. The third time, it feels more so. So I might as well learn how the song goes that time, because there's a lot to the newness and being right there right now. I can't read or write music, and the progressions just are, sometimes it's just I feel certain ways, so I go and pick my guitar up and I have no idea how to play those chords, so I just start sticking my hands on the neck until I find what makes the sound that I feel like.
I first became aware of you in about, I guess, 1983 when I heard Let's Dance.
Yeah?
And I said, geez, they got Albert King or something to play with David Bowie.
That was kind of my intention. I was looking to see where Albert King licks would fit. They'd seemed to fit everywhere I'd tried them before, and it just seemed like it was the perfect thing.
It really was quite a piece of work.
Well, it was fun to do, and I got to be around Nile Rodgers and David and everybody in the studio for about 3 days from that session there. It was really a lot of fun. It was no hassles at all. It was just a real big experience for me, you know.
What was your experience in the studio up until then? I mean, had you been, obviously you played well already. Had you been working as a accompanist or with Double Trouble already, or with?
Yeah, I was already with Double Trouble. I had gone through a number of bands in the Dallas or Texas area.
I always thought, man, what a cool move not to go with Bowie.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I wanted to play with my band, and that was really what that amounted to. I wanted to play with my band, and I could see that I was going to not be able to do that. Originally, we were going to be on the tour. That didn't work out. I wanted to be with my band, and I did.
Nothing personal. No. I wanted to talk a little bit about the new Instep album. First of all, sort of a third cousin of Whole Lot of Shakin' going on. This tune, This House is Rockin'.
Yeah. That was written actually mainly, that was one of the songs that Doyle Bramhall had pretty much started, and it just needed to be finished up. When we went into this project to write together, I had some songs that had been started, but I couldn't quite finish by myself, and he had the same. And I love the way Doyle writes. He writes real simply and to the point. Sometimes it's got to say something, really get something out. Sometimes it's just for fun, and that was one of the fun ones, you know.
It has that falling off a log quality that's in a lot of good blues. It doesn't sound like much work went into it, but it comes off sounding right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The main work probably was the guitar tech, because we kept changing necks on the guitar so I could get a crossbreed between a Stratocaster and a Telecaster.
On that particular tune?
Yeah. Actually, this was the body of a Hendrix prototype, had Tele pickups in a Strat body, and we had taken the Tele neck off of another guitar and stuck it on. It wasn't the same size neck as needed to be for the guitar, but we made it work anyway.
You kind of started playing as a result of, I guess, partially inspired by your brother Jim, right?
Oh, yeah.
And for those who don't know, that we're talking about Jimmy Vaughan of the Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Who, I guess you started off playing bass for.
Yeah. Actually, I had a guitar. I was given a guitar for my birthday. It was a genuine Masonite guitar. And it wouldn't tune, so we took 3 of the strings off and lowered them down. That's how I started, and then I ended up getting, as Jimmy he progressed really fast, and as he got his next guitars, I would get the ones that he had left behind.
Yeah. Well, I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and I think it started as a result of listening to Voodoo Child of yours. And he was saying, boy, you know, isn't this exciting how this guy is so influenced by Jimi Hendrix? And I was saying, well, I don't know if this guy is influenced by Jimi Hendrix or whether he and Jimi Hendrix just had the same heroes.
It's a lot of both.
Let's name a few of these people just because it's interesting.
Yeah, Albert Collins, Albert King, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Hubert Sumlin, Wolf,
Right.
Muddy Waters, Guitar Slim, Johnny Copeland later on, I guess. Of course, Hendrix, Clapton, Beck.
Right.
The Beatles, you know, Little Richard, everybody that was pulling from rhythm and blues, rock and roll, old style rock and roll, rockabilly, and then a lot of my brother.
You and your brother recently did a project with Dylan, is that right?
Yeah, it was fun. It was.
Tell me about it. What was it? Sometimes, you know, these things come through on rock and roll headlines, and you don't know whether it was any fun or not.
Yeah, it was fun. It was. We had thought we were going to do one song, and it turned into 3 or 4, and we'll see what happens with them. It was a completely different style of recording than I've ever been involved with, where you play the song for about a half an hour, and then go from there. It was a lot of fun. I'd met Bob Dylan a few times in the past under varying circumstances. Sometimes other people trying to push us together, and we were kind of looking at each other going, what is all this about?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it was in a club setting or something, you know, where he was just trying to be listening to the band. Everybody else was around him trying to protect him, and he just wanted to be a person. So he'd remembered us meeting as well, and I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It was a good thing for my brother and I to be able to do, because we had not gone in the studio together for quite a while. And it gave us a chance to go and just see what happened creatively with someone. And we both, of course, wanted to play on a record with Bob Dylan. We've always, everybody does, I imagine.
I wanted to ask you about the name Vaughan, because the A in the name Vaughan is something unusual. I've never seen it spelled that way.
Well, it's an English spelling, but it's somewhere along the line, someone with the A in their name, the last A, had some kind of a criminal deal going on, so they changed the spelling of it to try to hide that.
Let's talk a little bit about Double Trouble. I know that I'd heard Tommy Shannon's name before, and somebody told me he's played with Johnny Winter.
Yeah, he was with Johnny on first 2 or 3, I believe, albums. In fact, he had met Johnny at a place called The Fog here in Dallas, and gone with him to play. And the night we met, he had just left Johnny, and we met at The Fog. And I was about 14 playing.
Okay.
It was an after-hours place. And Tommy was the only one in the band that would talk to me. Not too long after, like I say, not too long after that, we were ended up in the same band and have pretty much been together ever since. There's been a few periods of time when he was with another band or off doing something else. But it's as a rule, he's been the bass player in the bands that I've been in since. And I really admire the man.
Is he a contemporary of Johnny's, or is he your age?
He's a little older than I am, not much. He's just a real neat cat.
And Chris Layton has been with you for a while now as well.
Yeah, he had come around when I was in a band called the Cobras in the 70s. We were playing a club gig, and our drummer had he was trying to do a construction working gig and play in a band at the same time, and he had fallen asleep. And with his phone off the hook, our sax player said, "Hey, don't worry about it. My roommate's a drummer." And Chris got up there, and it wasn't long after that we were playing together.
Could you tell us a little bit about what Voodoo Child means to you?
It's
let's start with. I tell you what. Let's start with Jimi Hendrix playing Voodoo Child.
To me, it's like Hendrix doing his own Hoochie Coochie Man. I just really liked how it always sounded. And songs that I really like how they sound, I found that I usually have a little easier time playing because I really listened to them. We tried the song and it felt real good, so we just kept doing it.
Yeah.
That's how we pick songs in this band. If we like the song, we try it, and if it still sounds good after we've played it, then, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Then we keep doing it. And if somewhere along the line the song doesn't seem to sound like it has the same feeling or emotion, then we try to either work on it or drop it for a while to maybe pick it up later. But it's all really, it has nothing to do with a formula with us. It's got to do with whether we like it or not.
And hopefully, especially with a good form like blues or any form, it will improve and something will change about it.
And every time we play it.
That's the best of all possible worlds. You spent the summer touring with Jeff Beck, that is as two separate bands. Jeff Beck with Terry Bozzio and
Tony Hymas.
Tony Hymas.
Yeah.
And you guys would alternate every night, and how was that?
It was a lot of fun. It was there were a lot of shows, and since a few years ago, we have gotten used, or at least tried to take the pace of our touring and cut it back some. Because that was one of the reasons that I got as far out as I did with the Fake Energy. On this tour, it was kind of rough for me because it was like rough, usually at least five, usually 6 gigs a week, and a lot of travel. And I don't know whether the pressure was self-induced or that pressure is really there when you do a tour of that size. But I felt a lot of it. It was kind of a grueling thing, but overall I had a lot of fun, and one of the most fun things was that I got to see Jeff Beck every night. You know? Every night.
I heard you were seriously listening every night too.
Sure. And by the way, I never have figured it out. He would come out and it might be the same songs, but that was about it. He's always been an innovator and will continue to be. I know that when I play clubs, I play differently. I don't try to. However, I do like what comes out in clubs. For some reason, it seems like there's more time to feel it before I play it.
So I'm interested in this guy, Doyle Bramhall. He wrote several of these tunes that seem to be, well, they're sort of some of the central, pivotal tunes on this record that are, in many cases, it sounds fairly autobiographical.
Yeah, we had to, sometimes we have to tell what's gone on in our lives so that we can say what we try to say, you know?
Yeah, and get back to making jokes and playing guitar.
Yeah. Both of us had gone through some things, quite a few changes in our lives, and mine in particular was a lot of drug and alcohol abuse and all the things that go along with it. And a lot of these songs have to do with trying to get back to reality, you know, being able to relate to each other, people, and go on with life.
Yeah. Well, I'm no stranger to this. In this, there's this tune you and Bramhall wrote called "Tightrope" that's third on this record, which it's like a mini Cure all in itself. It starts you off with the problems. You know, when you're doing drugs, you're standing still, and it seems like everything's going by you.
Yeah.
Then the second verse kind of moves into not being able to see your own friends reaching out to help you.
Yeah.
And it sounds like by the third verse you were feeling like you were looking at a friend again when you looked in the mirror.
Yeah, you got to get to the solution, you know. Got to go through the problem. Got to see what's going on, feel what's going on, give it up, and go.
And this, I take it from the sound of your voice, remains constant in your life.
Oh, yeah. It's a day-by-day thing, and it's finally starting, at least I'm beginning to learn that the reason we have a lifetime to work this stuff out is because that's what it takes, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's okay, too.
Thanks an awful lot for the good music, and keep that hat pulled down, and know that you're one of the people we look to for the future of this music we call the blues, but which is obviously fast growing into something bigger.
Well, I'll keep trying. I can't quit now.
All right.
All right, man.